Welcome, everybody, to the Huddle, KGUN's weekly streaming sports talk show. I'm Jason Barr, actually on location. I'll get to that in a second, joined by Pat Paris. Pat, good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm in the studio, but yeah, you're out and about. Good for you.
Yeah. I got a green screen behind me, so you can't see it right now, but I'm at Arizona Women's Basketball Media Day. We're going to be joined by a player in just a few minutes. That's going to be exciting. But first, Pat, we're going to start with our Huddle poll question, and that has to do with the men's team in the Red Blue Showcase this coming Friday night. Which Arizona freshman are you most looking forward to seeing? And you can choose between Koa Pete, Braden Burries, Dwayne Aristote, or Bryce James, right? So I believe it's A, B, C, or D on X. Is our Twitter Huddle poll question. Don't see it right there, but I'm sure it's on X, and you can vote on that. Pat,
Yep.
I think a lot of people are probably either going to say Koa Pete or Bryce James, but I'll tell you what, Dwayne Aristote's a heck of a player, and so is Braden Burries. I mean, these are Burries, McDonald's are All-American. Aristote could have been if he wasn't hurt last year.
Yeah, and I know you're high on Dwayne Aristote, and I am too. I'm waiting to see him in action. I did pick Koa Pete only because I think he's the cream of that crop, and it's a great crop. And you're talking about those top three guys are all five-star players, right? And then you've got Bryce James. I think we're looking forward to seeing all of them, and it's really kind of who's going to rise to the top. And for me, it's Koa Pete, but I think Aristote brings that defense that Tommy Lloyd likes. I'd like to see him too.
Yeah, so all those guys will be on display at the Red Blue Showcase. That's going to be this coming Friday night. Now, of course, there's some big returnees. We're just kind of having a little fun here with our the notable additions. And, also the Arizona women's basketball team is a lot of new players, right? Every player new except Montea Dew. And in just a couple of minutes, we're going to be joined by Molly Ladwig. She is a freshman from Nebraska, and we're going to chat with her. So we'll start, Pat, here on the Iowa State-Arizona football game, and then we'll kind of resume it at the end of the show. Pat, this was what Arizona did not need to do. Go there and get blown out. That's what I talked about last week. I said, if you lose a close game, Iowa State comes from behind, whatever. I understand it's a ranked team on the road. But if you go and you get blown out, you take away from the good that you did the previous 3 weeks.
Yeah, see, I'm going to disagree there. I was disappointed that they got blown out, but it's a measuring stick game. And I've been
That's
around.
What Brennan said. Yeah.
He said it, but I said it even going in. It's a measuring stick game, and you didn't measure up. And that's okay. You're 3-1. When we started the season, I don't think any of us said they were going to be 3-1. I think a lot of us thought they'd be 2-2 at this point, as we were hoping they would go 6-6 on the season. They're still ahead of schedule. Was it disappointing? Yes. Are there a lot of
things? I didn't have this in the W column. That's not the issue. The issue is how they looked and got blown out.
Yeah, well, and that's against Iowa State, who turns out to be the best team in the Big 12, as we all thought they would be. It does, Jason. Losing is losing. It doesn't matter. It's how you respond now. You didn't measure up to Iowa State. You should be able to measure up against Oklahoma State and then some. And then you take that challenge of getting over a loss, turning it into a positive, because you learn more from a loss than you learn from a win. And Iowa State's Iowa State. Arizona needs to prove that they're better than they showed against Iowa State going forward, and I think they will.
You more concerned about Fafita's 2 interceptions and some missed throws, or the special teams that was supposed to be better and wasn't last week? Almost a fumble on the opening kickoff, another missed field goal. I don't like fair catching a punt inside the 10-yard line. I'm seeing that a lot in the NFL too. If you're inside the 10-yard line, do not catch the ball. Take the chance that it might go into the end zone.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I'm disappointed with special teams so far. Noah Fafita, my problem with Noah Fafita is we see flashes of 2 years ago, and then we see a glimpse of what we saw last year occasionally. And there's just got to be some consistency there. And I think there will be. But his confidence can get shaken a little bit, especially when he goes up against a great team like Iowa State's defense. They got an awesome defense, Jason. They're not going to give up many points to anybody, and they haven't so far this year. So I really think you have to learn from that. And I hope Noah Fafita can, feast on Oklahoma State's bad team and right the ship a little bit, and then we'll take it one game at a time after that.
Jason Barr, Pat Paris here, the Huddle, KGUN9's weekly streaming sports talk show. Pat's in the studio. I'm behind a green screen at Arizona Women's Basketball Media Day, about to be joined by a player. When that interview is done, I think, if you want to go around right here, Molly, you're going to when that interview is done, I'll turn the camera around so you can kind of see what's going on here. but we're going to have a guest here live on the Huddle, and we're meeting each other for the first time.
Hi.
Molly, my name is Jason Barr.
Nice to meet you. I'm
nice
Molly.
to meet you. We're going to sit close together.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
That's Pat Paris.
Hi,
You're
Pat.
live. You're live right now.
You're on our weekly streaming sports talk show. It's called The Huddle, where we talk about sports.
Nice.
So
Love
you
it.
can see yourself right there.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So you joined Arizona women's basketball. You are a freshman from Nebraska.
Yep.
But you originally had committed to Becky Burke when she was at Buffalo. Tell me about what happened. You heard she was coming here. What were your thoughts, and how did that all come about?
Yep. So committed to Buffalo.
And we got the microphone right here.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Committed to Buffalo, obviously because of Coach Burke and because of that staff. And so happily committed, ready to go to college in 4 or 5 weeks. And then, news came. She called and, hey, I got this awesome opportunity, which down in Arizona. And obviously I was so happy for her. She deserves that. And she said, like, on the phone call, she's like, I want to bring you with me, but there's obviously a lot of stuff to figure out. Like, her coming down here, she had transfer portal stuff to figure out, who's staying, who's leaving, ton of stuff. And so there was kind of a time gap there where I didn't really know, like, what was happening. I decommitted to Buffalo, kind of reopened my recruitment a little bit. But obviously, if Coach Burke wanted me to come down with her, that was my immediate yes, just because that's an opportunity you got to take up. And so, yeah, after a while, in a good time, she called and said, hey, I want to bring you down here with me. And so I obviously said yes. And yeah, it's been a great opportunity.
Terrific. Pat, do you have a question, or do you want me to continue?
No, I real quick, I just want to know that, while I grew up here in Tucson, and this is my home, I actually was born in Omaha, and my family's all from the Omaha area. And I know that, especially women's basketball in that Iowa, Nebraska area is really, really good. Tell me what it was like playing in that Omaha area and kind of getting your skills up to be able to play Division I basketball.
Yeah, obviously, you're right. Like Omaha and Iowa, there's really good girls basketball competition. AAU really helped me just getting out in those circuits to play against people outside of the Midwest area. But no, like girls state basketball was a big deal in Nebraska. And so I played against really good girls. Britt Prince is committed to Nebraska. Just some girls who play at a high level. And so and we were a powerhouse school for women's basketball at my high school. And so that really did help me prepare for college basketball and the intensity. And even specifically my high school coach, he was just really intense. And so I think that helped me transition into college basketball, and especially Coach Burke, really well. So, yeah.
I want to know
go ahead, Pat.
real quick, Jason, my last question, that is, you're 2.5 hours away from Des Moines. You had to know Caitlin Clark as she was growing up and then playing at the University of Iowa. Was she ever an inspiration to you, that somebody we can all kind of relate to in Caitlin Clark?
Yeah, obviously she's changed the game of basketball, and her being from Midwest Iowa, right close to us, is super awesome, and especially just for young girls growing up in the Midwest. We went over to Iowa Fieldhouse every other weekend for a tournament when we were younger, and she'd be there, she'd be playing, like whatnot. So, seeing her and kind of having her as a role model growing up was awesome, and what she's done for the game is amazing. So, yeah.
Well, I know you can play a little defense because I just saw it in practice, but you also scored 50 points in a game in high school, and my understanding is junior and sophomore and junior year, you made it to the state championship game, but senior year, you finally broke through and won the state championship for your high school. What was that like? Yeah,
it was awesome. So I transferred. I went to my small town where I lived my freshman year, and then I transferred because of the coach that coached me when I was younger. I loved him. So I transferred to his school my sophomore, junior, senior year. And sophomore, junior year, we lost to the same team in the state championship both years, that was just a bummer. And then, senior year was kind of our year. My senior group of girls was awesome, and we had that we were going to win that year, and it was going to be our year. So it was awesome. That was an awesome experience. Yeah, and also you won a national championship with an AAU team. Is that correct too? Okay, so you're coming in with a little bit of a resume, right? Yep. Yeah, 15U. We were down in Pennsylvania for the Under Armour championship. That was awesome. That was an awesome feeling, and that was good. Just I was a little younger, so that was awesome. Just a confidence builder. Really got us in front of college coaches too. So that was just a really good experience. Yeah. What's the transition been like to college so far? It's definitely been intense. That's kind of the biggest thing for me, was just the intensity between high school going into college. Coach Burke is definitely an intense coach compared to most. And so, just the speed that they play at here, the players. I mean, I've never played with so many good guards, good posts. Yeah. So, high school, I mean, I was kind of always dominant player, teaching the younger kids. And so kind of just having that role reverse where I'm the younger girl now, just learning from all the guards around me. That's kind of been the biggest deal. And I'm kind of just a sponge this year and learning from them. And that's been the biggest thing.
Okay, so I chatted with your roommate Cameron.
Yep.
I found something about you. You can sing.
Oh, did she seriously say I can sing?
Yeah, how else do I know?
Wow.
Yeah. So she said you can sing.
She would never tell me that to my face.
I asked what genre, and I think she mentioned a few. Is that true? Do you like to sing?
I mean, I wouldn't consider myself like a vocalist or anything, but
it's just like a singing in the shower and singing.
Totally.
In the car.
I mean, she definitely hears me singing in the shower all the time. But did she can play the guitar? She told you that, right?
No, that I'm finding out from you.
So she can play the guitar really well, actually, and so that was something fun. We had a few girls come up, and she was playing the guitar, and we would sing the start to a few songs. So yeah, that's nice though that she said I was a good singer.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
All right, well, they're telling me we're out of time here. So Molly Ladwig, thank you so much for a couple of minutes here on the Huddle, KGUN9's weekly streaming sports talk show. Maybe this was a little different for you. I don't know if you've done an interview like this around here as you go do the interviews. But anyway, we thank you for a couple of minutes here. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
And this season, we'll be rooting for you. I know the Tucson community will as well.
Thank you.
So thanks so much. Okay.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, that's Molly Ladwig, University of Arizona women's basketball guard. She scored 50 points in the game, national champion in an AAU team.
Am I good?
You're good. Yep.
Okay.
Part of the team. Yep. And so okay. So Pat, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to got a couple things to juggle here. Yeah, it's all you. Yep. Juggling. Pat, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn the camera around so you're going to be interviewed by Lindsay. Yeah. So you can kind of see what's going on here.
Okay. That's the Richard Jefferson Gymnasium. Know it well. Yep. There's Lindsay Dean from KGUN9. There you go.
Have a good view of what's going on. So I just want everybody to be able to see. Okay, so we're at Arizona Women's Basketball Media Day.
There. And now back to the green screen.
And doing some interviews. Okay. Yeah. So we hope everybody enjoyed that. Pat, we can talk to we get back to University of Arizona football here, which is what we were talking about. And Wildcats come home against Oklahoma State. Pat, I don't like the whole must-win thing, okay? Must-win. Well, I mean, you could lose a bad game and win the following week, right? But you got an Oklahoma State team coming in here, Pat, that's lost 12 straight FBS games. They just fired their defensive coordinator. They fired their head coach the week before. They're losing a couple guys to the transfer portal. This is a game Arizona football needs to win. They're right back the ship, or things can take a bad turn. No?
No, I do. And I don't even let that creep into my head. I really think that you got to, Oklahoma State was one of the premier teams, minus Oklahoma and Texas. It was always Oklahoma State was right up there at the top, right, of the Big 8, the Big 12, and now this massive new Big 12. And all of a sudden they're playing terribly. They fire Mike Gundy, their head coach. Now they've got to change with defensive coordinators on an interim coach. You've got to beat them while they're down because you don't know how long Oklahoma State's going to be down, right? So this is your opportunity. But real quick, Jason, this is what I don't like about this transfer portal stuff. And I get it. You fire the coach, players can go elsewhere. But I grew up, and if I committed to play at a program, I'm going to play at that program till at least the season's over, right? And I hate this that guys are bailing on. Like, you're bailing on your teammate. I understand they fired the head coach, and that's unfortunate. And that's on you guys too as players. So now they fire the head coach, and instead of rallying around your teammates and this interim coach, you're just like, nah, I'm good. I'm going in the transfer portal. I think that's just awful, and I think it says a lot about a person's character who would bail on the rest.
I think it also gives them, and I'm not excusing it, but if they only played 4 games or fewer, it saves their season, right? Is my understanding.
But you're just bailing on your teammate. Goodbye.
No, I don't disagree with that.
And that's what I hate about it. I don't know every individual story about the guys.
And listen, a couple players who have one is a long snapper, so that's an important position. The other is somebody who hasn't played. Yeah. So really, if you think about it, if only one or there's a different way to look at it. If only
I suppose, but here's what I would say is, why did Oklahoma State?
I agree with you, Pat.
Why did Oklahoma State go into the season if they had any inklings that Mike Gundy had kind of reached the end of the line? What do they gain by firing him 4 weeks, 3 weeks in, and an interim head coach, for the rest of the way? A lot of it just is very frustrating to me about the way college athletics are going right now.
And one of the positives, Ismail Mahdi has really established himself as the running back. Would you say you want one of those running backs to step up? I think he's done that. You want to see Chris Hudson do that a little bit, and as a receiver, and from that room. So I think that's a positive for Arizona. And the line's okay. It wasn't terrible. So there are some positives to take away, Pat, but I just don't feel good about what happened last week with Iowa State and the way they lost. And I really think it was a little bit of a wake-up call. And this is something where they need to take care of business at home against Oklahoma State, or we're just kind of taking another step backward.
Well, I look at it like, as I mentioned before, it's a learning moment. It's a teaching moment. Seth Dagey will get, obviously, with Noah Fafita, and they'll go over all this. And Noah Fafita made some bad reads. He made some bad throws. He missed some throws. He threw 2 picks. He hasn't been doing that since last year. So there'll be a teaching moment. There'll be a time for him to understand what he did wrong. And look, I'd rather be playing Arizona's schedule right now than say an SEC team who, you get beat at one week and you got to go back up against another top 10 team in the next week or something like that. There's chances for Arizona to win games, and there's chances for them to lose games the rest of the way. There's still an opportunity to go win 6 games that I predicted before the season started. They're ahead of pace with 3-1 right now. If they remain ahead of pace, they could win more than 6 games.
All right. This is Jason Barr. Pat Paris is the Huddle, KGUN9's weekly streaming sports talk show. Pat, let's circle back to our Huddle poll question, and that has to do with which Arizona basketball player are you most looking forward to in the Red Blue Showcase? And that would be, one of 4 guys. I think the 2 headliners are really Koa Pete because of what he's accomplished with Tommy Lloyd and winning in the FIBA for Team USA FIBA Under-19 championships this past summer, and then Bryce James has got the name. But Braden Burries was a McDonald All-American. Dwayne Aristote, a 5-star guys. There's another couple of international players who are freshmen who we're not even mentioning. So definitely some exciting players to check out here in the Red Blue Showcase. And I'll tell you what, Pat, those 2 bigs, Mo Crevis and Toby Awaka, and you could call Koa Pete a freshman, or even Aristote can a big, but those 2 guys who are returning, Mo Crevis, the light just burned out. Mo Crevis and Toby Awaka, those guys are monsters, Pat.
Yeah,
those guys are. Mo Crevis is 7'4", and Awaka, who they always say plays underneath the rim, is a tremendous offensive rebounder. I'm excited about the front court also.
Yeah, there's no question. I think that there's a reason why I think there's even more excitement about this year's class than any of the previous ones with Tommy Lloyd. It's not just 3 5-stars coming in and Pete Burries and Aristote. It's the uniqueness of a Bryce James, who may or may not see a lot of playing time, but he'll see some playing time. But then, as we highlighted the key returners with the Waka and Bradley and even Del Orso, I want to stay grounded here, but I'm really excited about this season. And earlier I mentioned Koa Pete. He's the one I voted for, and right now he's leading the vote with 60% of the vote. Aristote is at 20%, Bryce James at 13%, and Burries at 6.7%. But Braden Burries might be the guy that we're missing out on here the most. You've talked up Aristote. I've talked up Koa Pete.
Hey, only in the poll question I've seen Burries play. And he can, in practice, this is a terrific player. This is a McDonald's All-American.
Exactly. And the biggest question mark for this team really is spreading the wealth, sharing the basketball, and getting the right combinations. And that's up to Tommy Lloyd and his coaching staff to figure out. But that's a great problem to have. It's, that's why, everybody says I think it's a top 3 recruiting class. Some have it at second. And they go into the season, fully expecting to be a top 10 team again and vie for a Big 12 championship. So we'll see. But you can't go wrong with any of the 4. But I would just say Bryce James is you're looking forward to seeing him play, really because of who his dad
it's a
is.
little buzz, sure.
Yeah, exactly. And believe me, on SportsCenter, they're going to show Bryce James. They're just going to show. He gets in the game, SportsCenter's probably going to show a bucket of his.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see LeBron at a game if the schedule works out. All right, we want to thank Molly Ladwig. She was our guest this week, University of Arizona women's basketball player. And as we're doing the show, or at least I am here from Richard Jefferson Gymnasium, Pat back in the KGUN9 studios, we thought we'd mix things up a little bit, have a little remote, and try to do two things at once. So it was kind of fun, and we hope everybody enjoyed it. And we'll be back next week to talk about Red Blue and Arizona football against Oklahoma State.
There you go.
All right, for Pat Paris, I'm Jason Barr. This has been the Huddle, KGUN9's weekly streaming sports talk show. Thanks everybody for watching live and on demand, and we'll see you same time next week.